Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. We've got a nice crowd today. If you could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. We have a nice crowd, some really good things going on today. I just wanted to welcome everybody back. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving break. And I know you're all energized or exhausted or both to be back. So thank you all for taking the time, on this Monday to show up. We really appreciate it. So I'm just going to hand it over to Patrick to introduce our guests tonight, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
So thank you all for coming out tonight. And I know it's one more night, especially after a holiday break. So I appreciate you being here. But we do like to recognize students throughout the year. And we invited the Morse football team here because they received or earned the, make sure I get this right, because there's so many different divisions of football now. 8-man large North Division MPA Good Sportsmanship Award this fall. And how that works is each team, the coaches vote on this. And so very impressive. I'm sure you wanted to come here maybe with the gold ball and the sportsmanship award. But to me, the sportsmanship award is just as important. Tonight we have, I hope I get this right, we have head coach Jason Darling and assistant coach Charlie Bingham. And I think we have 3 players, Brandon Reed, Braden Weber, and then Tyson Pinkham are here. And again, we usually, in the past, there would be a sportsmanship banner that they would bring to this, but now we have a sportsmanship banner in the gym, and their names, the 2022 football team will be added to that. And again, I would just like to congratulate you and say how proud we are of the respect that you show on the field, that you truly love the game. And again, just showing respect and sportsmanship for your own teammates, but also the other teams that you play against. So I'm going to have you guys come up for a picture, but Coach Darling, do you want to just say a few highlights about the season? If you want to come up to the mic here. And
Absolutely.
The question was asked, what is 8-man large? Football used to be 11-man for everybody in the state of Maine, but with shrinking populations, schools, class, mostly C and D schools have chosen to play 8-man football, and even some class A and B schools have, lost population. So you have an 8-man large because you have 600, 700 students, and you have an 8-man small, like an Old Orchard Beach, it only has 200 or 300 students. Yeah. So next presentation, we have Leslie Trundy here, and Leslie, I'll turn it over to you, but I just thought it would be great. We have 5, is it, or 6 exchange students this year. Now that COVID is, not as prevalent as it was, we're back to having them, and it's great to have them in our school. So I thought it'd be great if you could come tonight and just introduce them or have them introduce themselves. And great.
So much, Damien. And the reason that I work with the exchange students is because I was fortunate to be a youth exchange student through the Rotary program. When I was a junior in high school, it was a life-changing experience. I lived in Næstved, Denmark. I spoke 0 Danish. We are so fortunate that the exchange students speak wonderful English. You'll find that in just a minute. We do have 5 students this year. We're really excited. They've brought a lot of energy to the school, along with school board rep Natalie. They've founded the International Club, and I'll let them just introduce themselves and share a little bit about their experience so far.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aku. I'm an exchange student from Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is the country in Central Asia, and I'm really happy to represent my country and its culture this year at Morse High School. And I've already done a free presentation about my culture in my classes, and we do international lunch every month, and we plan to do more activities with exchange students next month. And now I just would like to share with you a little bit about my experience at Morse High School. I remember when then I found out that Morse High School is not really big school, and I was really a little bit upset about this. But now I'm really happy that I'm here, because I think it's like such an incredible, inspiring, social and active community to be here. And I don't know, I'm just really happy to be here. All teachers are really kind, and I love interactions between teachers and students. I really love that. I was really surprised that students here are more responsible, and you're so active and trying to be everywhere. It's really motivating. And I love all teachers because they're so open and always ready to help me. Yes, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Francesca. I'm from Milan in Italy. I actually been in Maine for 3 months now. Well, tomorrow is going to be my 3 months anniversary, and I'm probably going to celebrate with a little cake. And well, Maine isn't completely new to me because my grandpa actually has lived here since before I was even born. So I already knew the state, and I decided to come to Morse because it was going to be probably like easier to organize the whole thing. I knew it was going to be different from like what I'm used to, because like the city that I'm from has more people than the whole state of Maine. And here at Morse there are like 600 people. In my school there are around 2,000. So that was a pretty different thing, but I find the people here to be like a lot more inclusive. It's nice to be able to have a different kind of like relationship with like all the teachers, and like just feeling like so many people here like care about like how your experience is going, not just as an exchange student, but like as a student in the school. And yeah, I really like it here. The only thing is probably the weather. I'm not really used to being super cold all the time, but yeah, I'm liking it.
Hi, I'm Lily. I come from France, and I'm really happy to be here. It's my first experience in the United States, so it was a little bit difficult with English at first. Like the first day, I wasn't understand anything, but it's going better now, and I think everything is going well for me now. I start to have friends, and I really like my family and everything. So it's really fun, and they said exactly what I want to say. Like everything is going well, so I don't know what I can say more, but thank you.
Hi, I'm Moritz. I'm from Germany, and I like soccer, and I was really glad that that Morse has such a great soccer team. Yeah, I made a lot of friends playing soccer, and also in band, I play the drums and do some percussion. And yeah, school is going well. I have no difficulties in my classes, and I like that we have so different classes to Germany. Like in Germany, we just have math and history, but here we also have PE, band, design workshop, and all those classes. And I'm very glad to be an exchange student here, and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, thank you.
Hello, I'm Elsa, also from Germany. I'm here for 3 months, a bit more than 3 months yet, but yeah, I like it so far. Yeah, I think Germans are known for their efficiency. I hate this pronunciation. Efficiency, yeah. But so I was a bit confused when I on my first day at school because we just have 5 minutes in between the classes and I'm not used to it. In Germany at my school we had 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So I don't know why we are so efficient, but yeah. Otherwise I can just repeat everything here. I'm very happy to discover all the different classes, clubs, sports teams. So I appreciate that.
Well, thanks so much for making a little time for us. A great chance for them to introduce themselves. Okay, yes, absolutely.
Anybody have questions that you want to ask?
I was just going to ask, was this then your first American Thanksgiving? For most of you, did you like it? Was it good? Why don't you move the microphone out of the way? Thank you. So is this Julie doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could approve minutes and then adjust it at 5.0 and move them up, whatever you want.
Okay,
to do. We can go right to then.
We can just, so what I think we're going to do is let's approve the minutes and then we'll do adjustment to the agenda. And then I think we're going to move you right up, Julie, if that's okay. So you guys don't have to stick around. I know you're sitting there going, why are we still sitting here? I know you want the second readings and all that stuff, but okay. So we're up for minutes. Has everyone read through the minutes? Any questions? Have a motion for approval if there aren't any?
I move to approve the minutes as
Okay,
written.
and second by Jennifer. Any other questions? All in favor? Okay, the minutes passed. And then adjustments to the agenda. We're going to move 10.2 up to what's now going to be, I guess, 5.1. And do we need any other adjustments while we're at it? That's pretty much it, right? That'll cover all the guests. Okay, so I'm going to hand it back over to Patrick.
All right, so tonight we have Julie Kenny, Julie Stone, and we have Abby Reed and Jackson Fuller, who are going to give us a presentation on kind of different career exploration paths that we have here, including, some of the ELO work that we've been talking about. And we also have JMG representation in the back of the room here as well. So thank you guys all for coming out. I appreciate it.
So thank you for having us. I feel like we've talked about a lot of this in various aspects to all of you in different venues, but it's great to be here and just have the students that can talk to you. So we're going to present just quickly about career exploration experiences that we offer at our school. 2 years ago during COVID, we adopted a new curriculum called Career Tree that Melmac was great. They helped fund it for the first year. And now we put it in Perkins every year. And it's been wonderful. If you've been in our programs, you'll see the trees with different career pathways. And it's part of our career exploration curriculum that we put into all of our programs that have been adopted by our staff and implemented really by Katie Clark. With pull out and push in programs. She co-teaches with the staff. And then we were really fortunate to get JMG CTE specialist this year. We have one of 5, I think, in the state. Is that right? one of 7 in the state. Out of 27 centers, we're one of the 7 lucky ones. We have Julie Stone, and it's been a really great experience piloting an ELO program, which is mostly internships. So it's a little bit different than what Morse is doing, and it's taking the students out of their second year program into the field 2 days a week. And it allows them to take what they've learned in this career exploration curriculum and get kind of a taste of something that's a little bit different. And so, for instance, we have a student in carpentry who really loves finish work. We're a residential carpentry program that's required to teach residential carpentry standards by the state. But now the student gets to go to Kennebec Kitchens and do that. And then we have another carpentry student that's working at Custom Composites. So they're really getting a real life work experience where they can learn different skills. So. Thanks. So our career tree curriculum, real quickly, I wish Katie was here, but she couldn't be here tonight. I think a few years ago, when we started MELMAC, I presented about individual learning plans with our students that we did. I don't know if I even remember that. And this is just things that we've added to it. So all of our students, through our MELMAC funding, we work really hard to get an individualized learning plan with them. And what that means is they start in September as first year students with us. So they're beginning a junior year, and they go up to Ms. Clark's classroom and they do goal setting. And so it helps us understand what their goals are and what resources they need from us to get them where they want to go after high school. And part of that is explaining what lifestyle do you want? What jobs can you have to get there? And what are the different jobs that you could have in your field? And it kind of allows them a chance to think outside of the box from what they've thought of before. And so when we know they want to go to college, or we know that they want to go directly into the workplace, it really helps our staff be able to work one-on-one with the students to make sure that we meet their needs. In November, they do our first career tree is a compare and contrast assignment, and they take 3 careers that are starting points where they would like to start off. And the career tree is 3 different levels that it provides students, and it's entry level, what you could do right when you leave high school. It is the next level is what you can do with CTE training or additional training outside of high school. And then the 3rd level is what you can do for career opportunities if you have an advanced degree. And so we're really clear with students, and the curriculum's very clear with students, that they're all great starting points, and you don't need to aspire to be the highest level. If what you want to do is at the bottom, then that's also wonderful, because that's what makes the world go round, right? And so they get to explore different careers. In January, they do a branch report. So they dive really into one of the careers they chose. And in March, they do root systems, where they align their career goal to what post-secondary steps are necessary. So they need to really make a plan for themselves. Like, if I want to do X, Y, and Z for a job, these are the steps that I need to take to be successful. And then in May, Ms. Clark meets with all the students really quickly to go over their goal, to make sure before they leave for the summer, we know what their plan is. And then year 2, in September, we revisit the goals and make any edits necessary. What we find is a lot of times after students have a full junior year in high school, through their academics and what they've experienced in our programs, often their goals change. And then they get one-to-one help with personal narratives. We help them with college essays, extension of goals, and really meet with students as a one-to-one basis to make sure, like, if we see a student struggling, they don't know what they want to do, that we can help them. We do resumes with all of our students in January. In March, for the students who need it, we go over cover letters and references. And at the end, we meet with all students. We track them for 2 years. And at the end, all of our students now leave with a folder. We found that digital does not work for most of our students. They leave with a real folder, and it has their own resume, Ms. Clark's contact information for when they lose their resume, an example of a job application that we've printed off from a resource their instructor gave us, so they know what's going to be required when they fill out a job application. They give 3 references, so they have a place to go back to remember all that. So we try to give them the resources that they'll need. I don't know what happens to the folders when they leave us, but we hope they look at them. And so next I'm going to have Julie come up and tell a little bit about how JMG kind of connects with all this.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Julie Stone. So it's really great that we do the career tree kind of in the classroom. My role is kind of to make things happen and to send them and set them up in the community so that they can, really experience their goals and to, we kind of know that students, they do what's comfortable. So like if they, if they have an experience in the community in a job that they are interested in, they're more likely to follow through and kind of experience that. So I put this image up here that kind of represents JMG overall. Like Julie said, we are one of 7 CTE centers that are offering support to our students. This is just kind of us across the state in all of the schools that we travel in. So we go all the way from middle school to college, and we offer that continuum of support for over 12,000 students. So it's really awesome. Go on, next one. So what I'm doing at the CTE level here at Bath Tech is offering our seniors in early childhood, construction, automotive, and culinary internships. So we have 10 students that are in internships placed in the community. They go out Thursdays and Fridays. And then I am offering the main career exploration badge, which is new for JMG across the state. All juniors and seniors across the state are eligible to participate in the badge. So we have a lot of students that are doing experiences through that. And we're paying them $500 to just explore any opportunity and career that they're interested in. If they have no clue what they want to do, we can dabble in different areas. So if they're interested in automotive and carpentry, they could go out to an automotive place and they could go out to a carpentry place. It's really their dreams and their hopes and us making it happen for them to have those experiences. So it's a really cool opportunity this year. I'm doing a juniors class and they're all participating in the badge. They're going to use it as an exploratory tool for them to then maybe go long-term with it with an internship senior year. So we're really hoping that that's kind of like a rite of passage for them to go into that. So like I said, where we're at right now for the for CTE and JMG, I have 10 seniors out in internships. These are a lot of our partners, and I have about 18 juniors that are taking the JMG class and we're going over, anything from soft skills, values, SMART goals, all of those pieces that are really important for the foundation of making sure that our students are successful when they go out into the job and workforce. So, and then, I have about 34 students enrolled in the MCEB badge, main career exploration badge, and we have several other students that, now that word of mouth is coming out, are really interested in exploring different things. And it's cool for some students that, they might be in our culinary program, but they're interested, they didn't get into our cosmetology program. We can give them an opportunity still. So we're really able to provide more opportunities for our students through this, and they get paid. So like, what high school student do you know that doesn't want to get paid? And we're really fortunate to have an amazing rock star in our very own Bath Tech, and she's going to talk more about her main career exploration badge and being second in the state to finish. So I'm going to hand it over to Abby, who's going to talk more about her career tree experiences and her badge experience. So thank you all for having me. Oh, sorry, Jackson's going next.
Jackson's going to speak first.
Sorry.
I'm Jackson Fuller. I'm in the electrical program here at Morris. I also go to Morris. So when I originally entered the electrical program, I had a little bit of history with welding and automotive and a little bit of construction. And I really wanted to explore something that I hadn't done before. And that's why I picked electrical. I was very into it. I really enjoyed going back and being able to wire up a room in the mock-up and going to job sites. And through Miss Clark's help and with the career tree, I ended up deciding to further my education in that. And I worked for an electrician over the summer, and I really decided that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went back to Miss Clark, and we went through our career tree from last year. And I looked and saw the other careers related to electrical, and I've now decided to go to KVCC to become a lineman. So up here we have a SMART goal, and these are what we fill out junior year, and then Ms. Clark keeps them and you revisit them that spring and then your following fall. You kind of fill out, you just pick something you think you can attain, and then you talk to Ms. Clark about the steps you're going to take to get there. On the slide. So this is the career tree that we do junior year. So it's a little bit different for each VOC program. For electrical, there's 3 different levels, and it's basically where you would start coming out of high school, where you'd go after further education or experience, and then the upper would be more of a management job in that field. And you kind of get to explore that, see where you'd be working, what you'd be doing, what you'd be getting paid, if you'd be traveling, and what the long-term benefits are of each of those. Oh, I don't know. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abby. I'm from Lincoln Academy, but I also go here for the cosmetology program. So I'm here to talk about the branch report. So this goes further in depth into the career that you're looking for. First, when I did this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a cruise ship stylist. Awesome. And then I really thought about it and I was like, boats? Ugh. No, I can't do that. I get really motion sick. So then I decided, after going through all the steps and thinking about the salary and the position and what I need to do that career, I was like, nah, that's not going to work. So I started researching cosmetology, just overall being a cosmetologist. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And so this really helped me. I was able to think about one career that I wanted to do, and then thought about the salary and what my lifestyle would be. I'd be living on a boat. No. So then I decided to do the cosmetology. Okay, and then this is the root system career plan. So you go over like what skills you already have, what skills you need to be in the field, what education you need. So I figured out that I'm going to Aveda Institute for cosmetology early on last year. And then I also applied and I started in August. And then it thinks about like, what job do you want? Do you want part-time, full-time? So this is really helpful. And I felt like I got to think about my career much better than I had before. Okay. And then I'm the one student who has completed the badge. It's awesome. I got paid $500 and 40 hours of work. So, you know, so I did an apprenticeship at B&Co Hair Salon, which is in Damariscotta. And I'd already worked over there at the summer, and I don't have time in my busy schedule to be there. So after school, I decided to do some internship, and I got to wash hair, and I might have had an incident with the sprayer where I sprayed everyone with the sprayer. Oops. And then you do some worksheets like SMART goals, you go over career clusters. And during the career clusters worksheet, I decided that I wanted to do another part of cosmetology because at the salon I was at, they mostly were talking about hair. So I started doing it at Ashley Kate Aesthetics, and I got to learn lashes, lash extensions, all of that fun stuff. And it was a really awesome experience. I think I've learned so much, and I was actually be able to do hands-on stuff outside of my classroom. It was pretty scary at first, but it was okay. And I acquired skills like critical thinking, organization, and I just gained a lot of experience. So this has been an awesome experience for me, and I hope that more students are able to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions for our students?
Any questions? From the students? Anybody?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a great presentation.
I just had we had a couple questions, just because you guys came out here tonight. So, Jackson, can you just speak to, again, what program are you in right now?
Electrical.
Okay, but it's not what you really want to do?
Yeah. So I did end up working for an electrician over the summer.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at sitting still or waiting, and I did a lot of that over the summer. I kind of felt like I didn't really get to prove myself, and I just did a lot of watching. And I really enjoy when I can put my head down and go to work, like when we're here and you're not waiting on anybody else. So I kind of, when I talked to Ms. Clark, I kind of told her that I was like, I think I need to go somewhere where I maybe working with 1 or 2 other people, or there's a time frame on a job where we have to get things done. And I think that would suit my working style a little bit better.
And will your electricity program, I don't know the answer to this, will that help you like
Yeah,
when you get there?
We've done a lot of stuff that I will be learning. We have gone over like street hookups and a little bit of panel work, meters, meter enclosures, weatherheads, things like that happen between your house and the street. Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Any other questions? So now, do you graduate? Who's graduate? You're both seniors now? Okay, so you'll all graduate. And then you said you're starting the cosmetology in August, going where?
At a data institute in Augusta.
Oh, that's great.
All my hours from this class will be transferred over to the school.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so you both know where you're going and where you're headed. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
And Julie, you have 10 internships now, and do you have a goal? Is that what you're thinking from now until the end of the year, or?
Our goal this year was to get between 8 and 12. And so I think next year we might pilot some different programs. It's kind of strange because at first a bunch of the electrical kids wanted to, until they found out they'd have to leave school to do it. And they were like, I don't want to leave my class. So we're finding that some students don't want to leave because they enjoy being here. And so we'll probably, I'm sure it'll increase next year once the word gets out, but we're happy with 10 this year.
So you'll start making things miserable for kids, so they'll go out in an internship. Is it, as I have a question, then Natalie, you can go. So I always get confused. So how is this part of this funded? This is the MELMAC?
So
Or is this
Melmac
just now
helped us-
part of?
Yeah, Melmac helped us. They help with all the career exploration things. So all of our students go to one college campus and to one industry visit every year, so they understand what's available to them. And that's how we started with the career tree and the career exploration. So they helped us get that off the ground.
But now it's part of the integrated what you do.
The curriculum is integrated and we've had great success, so we'll keep it
Okay.
Because our staff have really bought into it and it's been really helpful to our students, as you can see. And then the JMG was
Right.
funded by JMG this year.
Right.
And it was just a really good tie-in for the students, because some of the students in electrical, for instance, who wanted to do an internship realized they didn't want to be gone out of class Thursdays and Fridays. They're actually doing the badge program instead. And like we had one student, for instance, who was in culinary because he didn't get into electrical, and he's able to do the badge program with a local electrician to get that experience. So it's kind of been a really great kind of melding of all of our offerings, because the students that can't do the full internship still have access to go out in the field through the badge program.
That's great. Natalie, you had a question?
Yeah, I was wondering what the difference between this internship program and the one that Mr. Stinchcombe is running is.
So theirs is through the chamber, I believe. They're doing a program with the Chamber of Commerce. Ours is a little bit different because students who are in a career and technical education program, the laws are different for the Department of Labor. So if you are enrolled in one of our programs, you're allowed to work with different equipment and tools at a younger age that you wouldn't be able to. So we've actually had a couple, like one student at least, who was going to do it with Mr. Stinchcombe, but then realized that they couldn't have the same experience offsite. And ours is more of an internship for like when the students are in an internship, that's what they do all year. It's less of an exploration because we do exploration as part of our regular curriculum. So it's more of like, it's just an internship when they're there. And also like Mr. Stinchcombe is able to offer very similar programs, but his is just to a much more diverse community where our students have already kind of committed to kind of one track of education.
It also allows students that are not more students an opportunity.
That's a good point. Yeah.
To participate. So our sending schools wouldn't be able to do an ELO.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. That was awesome. Thank you. All right. And now 6.0 is public session, but as most of the public's walking out. I don't know if we have anyone here speaking. If not, we'll move on to 7.0 student board representative report.
Yeah, so we got a lot tonight. So I wanted to start with a follow-up of what I mentioned last meeting. Caroline and I sat down with Mr. Varney right before Thanksgiving break to discuss the proposed greater district student representation. And after meeting with him and communicating with other administrators, we've decided to work together with the BMS and Woolwich student councils to set up reports from their schools, which we will distribute at the beginning of the board meetings. We're not sure if that's verbally or through something written yet. Our next goal is to work on student outreach to the board and making board procedures more approachable to the student body. In terms of happening at Morse, Top Gun Mohiba was a great success. Morse was able to donate around 300 cans of cranberry sauce to the food bank for Thanksgiving. SCLC and NHS are starting to raise money for Adopt a Family. Early decision results will be rolling in for seniors, and compost is coming to Morse, I believe.
So for my half of the report, this is kind of a backtrack to the beginning of the fall sports season, but boosters made over $31,000 from the Hour-a-thon fundraiser, where we called a bunch of people and asked for donations, which was huge for a lot of sports. And on the topic of sports, winter sports are now in full swing. They've all started up. And then today, Morse hosted an interactive leadership program called Sources of Strength, which raises awareness for mental health and healthy lifestyles, which was cool to hear about. So yeah.
Great. Any questions for any of the students? No? Thank you. Thank you for your report. So now superintendent's report.
Yeah, couple things. Just Morse High School Music Department. Excited to congratulate the following students for being chosen to sing at District 3 Music Festival at Mount Ararat in January. Kylie Bouchard and Abigail Hines for treble choir, and Connor Chatfield and Keith Libby for mixed choir. And then also, if any of you have an interest, RSU1 students will be participating in Bright Night Bath downtown on December 9th from 6 to 7, and that includes band members and singers from all of our schools in the district. Middle School Leadership Conference, we have representatives from Woolwich Middle School attend a student leadership day at Hyde School and collaborated with other students from across the state, listened to the CEO of LL Bean, and attended other leadership conferences. And we do appreciate Hyde School often does this, as well as some other districts in the state, and they just have a welcome invitation to other schools, and it's a really good experience for our students. Mohiba was mentioned. It was great to have, I think it was over 130 students that participated, and just a thank you to Sarah Coleman, which was her first Mohiba, and Sandy Foreman and Andy Chipman. They all did a great job. It was very well done. Morse esports team finished regular season at second place in the state of Maine, and playoffs begin soon. And then we did have 2 or 3. I think we had 3 unified volleyball competitions, and those are over for now. And unified basketball will start up after the winter sports season. So that's it. But one thing I did say I would touch on just briefly is, a couple weeks ago, was it a couple weeks ago or last week? In the state of Maine, I think I sent something out to you as well, but, there was the thing that was deemed a hoax of calling in an active shooter to many districts across the state of Maine. We were, fortunate that we didn't have to deal with that, but just to, we're meeting as a district safety security committee meeting, a group next week, and that's made up of representatives from each school, but also law enforcement officials and other community members. But just briefly, I'll just mention a few things. But we do, I think this is, at least I don't know how many years ago now, at least 6 or 7 years ago, that all of our doors are locked, during the school day. We use a buzz-in system. We have a sign-in sheet, visitor badges. Staff and students are instructed to report, if there's someone in the building they don't recognize. Volunteer background checks we have in place. We did a lot of upgrading this summer on security systems and also video monitoring. And the upgrades were mostly at BMS, and we put a brand new system in at Pittsburgh. The next two schools that will be upgrading is Woolwich and Fisher Mitchell. It's really been good in this community to have a long-standing relationship with Saginaw Sheriff's Department, Bath PD, and Chief Skrosky and Pittsburgh. I mean, people that have been there a long time. We have a very close relationship. School level teams meet, practice their practice drills. This year, we're looking to do the ALICE training at the elementary level. As you know, there's a proactive and a reactive component to school safety and security. We've updated our mental health resources. And so we try to look at it from, again, a physical safety, which would be building and classroom security, the crisis plans, coordination with first responders. We do have an SRO for 9 through 12 and our practice drills that we do. But again, on the other side, that emotional safety, and we've talked about this before too, and we'll continue to do this, is the school climate. The SEL curriculum, social emotional learning curriculum that we have, sources of strength that was mentioned tonight. Anonymous reporting system, that is something that we'll talk about next week at the district committee, where would we have something for any student and staff member or adult to be able to send a quick text if they notice something on social media or if they heard something at school, so it's anonymous. It's not where they have to come to an adult. So that's one thing we'll be looking at. Behavior threat assessments, mental health resources, which I mentioned before. So again, we try to take a comprehensive view of all of this. And it's never perfect, and we are going to be looking for different grants out there for maybe additional equipment and supplies that we could use to, again, do as much as we can around safety and security. So I don't know if you have any questions around that. I just thought it was a timely time just to bring it up.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the proactive nature that RSU1 continues to show. One of the things that I've been reading about is the body's response even to drills that are happening. So if we're talking about ALICE drills, especially at the elementary level, are we sort of thinking about how do we get bodies to calm back down? And the other thing I was wondering about is I talk with a lot of teenagers, and school violence is really at the top of their mind. Some of them want to homeschool because they're afraid to be in school. Some of them are in the cafeteria and thinking about where are we going to run to if this happens. So I wondered if there was a way to speak with students directly and maybe get input to find out what would make them feel safer, knowing that all of these wonderful things are in place. But are there things that maybe we aren't thinking about that they might be able to provide input for?
Yeah, I do think the drill piece at the beginning for 6 through 12, we did have some feedback from staff when we did the drills, and we had some feedback from parents as well. And I think we took it slow and we tried to be as sensitive as possible, but we did learn from that. And I think as we talk about pre-K to 5, even being, even adjusting the training more so that it's appropriate, applicable, and that we're sensitive to it. And I appreciate the point on the other one is maybe we could even invite a couple students to be on the district committee, but student feedback would be important. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you. I first wanted to respond to what Jamie said. I think one of the things I've noticed in the drills recently is a lack of urgency, especially fire drills. We have so many of them so quickly. No one thinks it's a fire. No one has any urgency getting out of the building. People when they hear it, they get up, they roll their eyes, and then they walk outside. And I think that it's become so desensitized that if we ever do have a fire, no one's going to respond to it because they're not going to think it's real. And if they do think it's real, they're not going to have the same sense of urgency that they might otherwise because they're so used to walking out slowly without really thinking about it, that I'm not sure it would have it would have the desired effect. And then I think with the school violence, I would definitely agree that that's something that a lot of people talk about and think about. I know it's something I think about. And it struck me, the French exchange student, in her presentations that she's given, one of the questions is, well, what is the stereotypes you have about American schools? And one of the things she's brought up over and over again is when she came over, her friends were like, you're going to be shot. And I think that in terms of making students feel more secure and safe, education as to the systems we already have in place, I think that we probably have a lot more than we realize, because as a student, I don't know how the buzzing system protects Morse. I know we've had talks about not propping doors open, but that hasn't been gone into as in depth, I think, as it needs to have an impact. And I think that part of that might be caution and thoughtfulness regarding how it may affect students, talking about that. But I think that in order for it to have an impact, it needs to be talked about. And then one more question, but I don't remember what it was.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, Carol.
I just sort of wanted to add on to what Natalie was saying. I think she made some really great points. I kind of just want to say, as a student, and I think a lot of people could agree with me on this, I feel like I know pretty much nothing about the safety things that we have in place at this school. I had no idea that there was that announcement about the shootings, that the active shooters that were in the area. My chemistry teacher mumbled it, and I was like, what? There's a shooter near us. I feel like, even though it's kind of a tough situation, obviously, because it's hard to hear, and it's hard to think every time I walk into school, I'm putting there's a huge risk, you never know what could happen. I think it's definitely important that I think the students are more aware of what's going on related to these kind of difficult topics. And it's great that we have all of these good resources to use. During the Alice drills, they're always you're totally welcome to go down to your counselor if you need to. I think it's nice to know, it's a good safety net that we have that, but I think it's also important that we know the extremes of it too, because I feel like it's kind of shielding us from something that's super real. And I think us as students have a right to know kind of what's going on. So
yeah, go ahead.
I remembered what my other question was. In terms of the mental health resources, what's going to happen to those when the ESSER funds run out? Are we going to continue funding for them, or are they going to, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't think we can predict right now. I mean, I think if we were asking any of our principals, they would say that's probably the top priority, but we funded 4 or 5 additional social workers, guidance counselors, and we're not going to be able to, the board makes that decision, but that's a hefty price tag to put that into the regular budget. So is it, the question will be can we keep one and rotate the person around the schools? That's what those are the discussions we're going to have in future budgets.
Great. Anything else? Thank you both for your feedback. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, I have a quick comment about the fire drills. So I spent 20 years at sea on large container ships, and weekly we had to do fire drills and boat drills. And I can tell you it's tedious, but if you do the same thing all the time, when there's a real drill, it's just ingrained in you, and you'll just do it, whether you walk slowly, which is really what you want in an emergency, or not. Kids will still get out of the building. So I think it's important to keep doing it and just, try to be positive when you're going out, but repetition is the key when it comes to safety like that.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Thank you all for all of your feedback. And yeah, as Patrick said, we'll be, as far as those positions, it'll be a big question as we start to look at next year's budget, when some of these, will start to go, some of the money runs out. So it's, definitely a big topic of conversation. Okay. Financial report. Did you want to?
Yeah, Deb couldn't be here tonight because of a family matter. If you have questions, I can certainly try to answer them or bring it back. I know she did share with me that she has done the exercise that she does every year about budget versus actuals when it comes to staffing, and she's very comfortable with where that is. And so that's a positive thing. And on the bottom, if I can find it in this, thanks. In the bottom, she did try to outline to you kind of on what Natalie just asked is on the bottom. The only thing that we have left for federal money is the ARP, which is the final one, which runs out in 2024. And you can see the staffing note down below of what we're currently using that money for staffing. And those will be the discussions, that we'll have to have as we go through this. But nothing out of whack, according to Deb. Thanks.
Any questions? Yeah, Jennifer.
So the interest on investment line, is that something that is typical at this time of year?
Yeah. I'll have to talk with Deb and find out. Yeah.
Any other questions on financials? Okay. Thank you, Patrick. All right, so now we're down to old business. This is now second readings of the board policy ACAAR, student discrimination, harassment, and Title IX sexual harassment complaint procedures, as well as the second reading of ACABR, the employee discrimination, harassment, and Title IX sexual harassment complaint procedures. Let's see, also the GB workplace bullying and the board policy IKF graduation requirements. I'll just first ask if there are any questions on these since it's a second reading, or if everyone's comfortable with these policies. They've all been updated, or if anyone needs to speak to it. No? Are we okay taking them all together? Okay, I need a motion. Yep, okay, Anita moves. Approve all. Okay, great. Thank you. Second? Second by Patty, great. Any further discussion regarding these? All right, if I can, all in favor? Okay, everybody's in, great. Okay, so those are complete, another set done. Now the new business, 10.1 curriculum assessment and instruction update. Katie?
Just a few quick updates. First is some good news. I know that some of you saw in the school reports that principals are still worried at times about sub-filling, and we've actually to date now, I've interviewed and hired 20 new subs for this year. So while it might not make up for the gap of the illness we still have going on, whether it's, COVID or all the other things going around, it's definitely going to help. So thank you to everyone who helped with the advertising of that position, and also for the support of increasing the hourly rate that happened last year, because I think those two things really helped us get to where we are now, which is awesome. I also wanted to share that the Gifted and Talented GATE program continues. I know you sometimes get updates on that, but it's we changed this and created it, for those who don't know, a few years ago. It's when all of our 4th and 5th grade students in the Gifted and Talented program get to come together, meet one another, have some time to do special themed projects before they all go to middle school, often together. The theme this year is ice, and I just wanted to share they had a great trip to Bowdoin where they went to the Arctic Museum. They got to learn about Inuit culture, animals from the Arctic. They got to hold ice, glacier ice from 1620 or something, like cores that were dug out. And so they have these really neat pictures of the students holding these ice cores and feeling really special. And one of the professors there did just some great work with them on climate change in the Arctic. And so it was really exciting that we continue to fund that opportunity for them to have this, special group that they feel really included in, when sometimes that can be, difficult for someone who might feel different a lot of the time they're in their own classroom. So The PD day, we haven't met since our November PD day. It went really well. I spent a lot of the day with Bath Tech helping rewrite their vision and mission, which was fun. Morse worked really hard on the sources of strength training or did their curriculum work. BMS did curriculum work and also did work on their Rev expeditionary grant. And then the others at the lower grades had one of their final longer math training. So it was a really productive, excellent day. And then finally, I just wanted to share that this is the time of year when we actually get to start pulling some different groups of teachers out for day-long conversations with their grade levels. So 5th grade actually starts tomorrow. So similar actually to our Gifted and Talented Gateway program, all of our 5th grade teachers from all of our schools will come together. And Beth Kaiser, who we hired for the RTI coordinator position, and I will be with them. She's done a great job of planning their day. Half of it's math, structured around math, half of it's structured around reading. And it's just nice to finally be back to doing what we were used to and really getting our best practices in place and making sure we're doing right by our kids curricularly. So those will start tomorrow. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Katie? Jennifer?
I was really happy to hear about the subs, getting more subs. I think it's
Yeah.
really very critical. Did I read that it was Dyke Newell that was experiencing some staffing issues and are maybe more because of staff family issues? I think, did they say that there were some shortages?
Yeah.
And so like, are our subs able to fill all those positions, or are they sometimes at higher levels or more specific training that they need that a typical sub couldn't handle?
I think it's less about that and just more depending on the day and who else is out at the district. And also when things are very last minute, like a family emergency or something that was referenced, those are harder to fill than ones, for instance, everybody coming to the grade level meeting tomorrow has had their sub request in since September. And so it really depends a lot on the timeline for when those requests get put in. And to be honest, how sick a particular building or our school is at that time. So I don't know if this is probably as well as I'm going to answer that.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Katie. We already had moved 10.2 up, so now we're at 10.3 Morse High School field trip.
Yeah, this is a trip we used to do pre-COVID, and it's a Friday through Sunday. It's not until May, but families do the fundraising. I know you might have had that question because of the funding source, it doesn't say. So the families do the funding for this, so it's not a cost of the school district. You can see roughly how many students are going, how many chaperones. And so I don't know if you have any questions. This is it's through the school working with a company. And again, the funding is through the families. So I don't know if you have any questions, but this is obviously out of the country and overnight trip. So we just need board approval.
Great. Are there any questions regarding this? Can we have a motion then?
I move to approve.
Okay, Meg moves to approve. Second by Jamie. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, that is approved. Thank you. We're at now we're at first reading of board policies. No action tonight, but this includes the DB annual budget, DBG budget adoption process, IJJ instructional and library media materials selection, IJJE challenge of instructional materials form, and JLCB immunization requirements. There any initial questions on these as you've read through them? I think some of them were simple updates, right? Not necessarily huge content changes. So nothing anyone needs, changed for the next meeting or anything at this point. Any major questions? We still, you have time next meeting if you still do, but otherwise so look them over. If anything comes up, let us know. Yeah, Natalie.
Yeah, sorry, this, I remember a couple years ago something on the Maine state ballot about vaccines and religious exemptions, and I don't remember what the outcome of that was and how it affects the policy. Is that relevant?
So essentially now all students have to have the set vaccines. The religious part of it is no longer applicable. Students are allowed to get an exception within a timeline that has now actually already passed if their IEP determines that it's medically necessary for them to have that. And we do have students who aren't fully up to date, but are required by a certain time this year to have a plan in place to catch themselves up for all the vaccinations they're required to have. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No further questions regarding these board policies. All right. So now we're at next meeting. So ordinarily it would have been, and may still be, December 19th, but we were looking at possibly, one, it's Christmas week, two, it's Hanukkah. Not that Hanukkah's that big a deal. Not as big as people think it is. I'm just trying to be more aware of it because I screwed up in September and we had our September board meeting on the second night of Rosh Hashanah, and that I totally wasn't looking. I was looking at the first day and then we had it and I screwed that up. So I don't want to screw it up anymore, but it's Hanukkah honestly is not as big a deal. It'd be nice if maybe we don't have to meet the week before Christmas as well as Hanukkah, how it's falling. So if the majority of us and everyone's comfortable with the 12th, we would have time then to go over, as Patrick gave you the board goals, because Jennifer had asked about that, we could have a workshop, and then it should be a fairly, unless something comes up, a fairly light agenda for December meeting, and then we get it done earlier in the month. And, so granted, it's just a few weeks from now, a little less, because it's 2 weeks, actually. Wow, right? Yeah, okay. But so again, makes for a lighter board meeting. We can focus on some goals and then everyone can have their holidays free. Yeah.
I don't know if this is like a stupid question, but is that going to change like the future meeting dates? Or?
No, it's
Okay.
just a one time.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, what we do is we always it's always, unless there's a holiday or something comes up, it's the fourth Monday. And every once in a while, especially because the Jewish calendar is lunar, you'll run into that usually in the fall. It's a September or October thing. But and on occasion something else comes up that we need to meet sooner for some other reason. But no, mostly it's that. So no, that's why we're having the conversation now. If people are comfortable, that's what we'll do. So is everyone?
I think most people responded to Kim and it sounded like you could make it work for the 12th. Okay.
Then we'll.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to, well, Lou and I and Lorna can talk about we talked about possibly meeting earlier, just board goals. Maybe meet, like at 5:15 and then, start the regular meeting at 6.
Could
that work for you guys?
Is that too early or is that comfortable?
You don't have to.
You want? Okay.
I think I can make it as long as there's no delay.
Okay.
So just let me know.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can let you know details soon.
Yeah, we can, even if it's 5:30, but it's, something like that, just a little earlier and get everybody on. Okay, great. Yes.
And I think I asked, but just for the new board members who haven't been through developing board goals or figuring that out, if we had any, past goals that we could distribute as well?
Yeah, I had two that I could find going back through the computer and stuff, so I could send another version out. I sent the most recent one that was like right as soon as COVID hit, I think, or right during the process, but I can send it and see if I can find maybe 2 more before that.
Yeah, I think we did better at, and is there also a document that says how we reached the goals? I mean, did we do something with those goals at the end? Just, I don't know. I can't remember that far back.
You mean just say what we
Usually,
achieved?
usually each meeting you.
Well, I do, yeah.
And then at the end of the year, usually you guys would, as a group, kind of reflect on,
Right.
the board goals. And,
Okay.
and those types of things.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great. So December 12th it is, and we'll get an exact time to you soon. since it's coming in 2 weeks. And I think that's all we have on the agenda. It was really good to see all the students. Thank you, Patrick, for setting all that up. And Katie, thank you. Any other questions? Anything good of the cause? Okay. Motion to adjourn? Yes, Jennifer and Jamie. All right. All in favor? And we are adjourned. I thank you all for your time.